You're listening to the Jan Price Show, all about movies. And today, my guest is director Tran. And we're going to be talking about her new documentary entitled For Tomorrow. Welcome to the show, Anne.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here. I loved this documentary. I immediately, when I started watching it, I stopped it and said, I sent out emails to friends and said, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. It is so inspiring and truly, yeah, just mind blowing in many, many ways. So our audience knows, can you tell us a little bit about what For Tomorrow is all about?
Sure. Thank you again for what you thought about the film. For Tomorrow is a documentary. We follow different people around the world that are just like you and me, who have decided to come up with an idea. They looked around their communities and they saw a problem, whether it was pollution or disabled access to the subway, just lots of different things. And decided to come up with an idea to try and solve that problem. And so it really is about the potential that we have all of us to innovate and to help our world. And so there's also a lot about, connecting these different characters around the world, because the world is getting smaller, and with the internet and just the way people communicate today, we have this great potential to really unify and to make great change together.
I agree. I agree. There's many wonderful things because of the internet that wouldn't be able to happen 50 years ago, or even 20 years ago, for that matter. How did you? I have so many questions. How
Okay,
did you get involved with this project?
So originally I was based in Vietnam, and that's where I live. I'm here in the US now just to help out with my family right now. But I got a call because they were looking for a producer to do the Vietnam segment. And there was a woman who lived in the next town over from me and she's in the film, Jin Ti Hong, and she found a way to take household trash, like organic waste, fruits and vegetables, and make it into an enzyme that you would ferment, and it would become a cleaning agent for household things, so like dishwasher liquid and floor cleaner. And then she trained all these disadvantaged women to make it, and so she could pay them and then use it to bottle all of the cleaning solutions, and it's become a really successful business. I actually use her products. And so when I heard about that, I was like, oh, I think I know who this woman is, and I would love to help tell her story. And so that was initially how they found me in Vietnam, in my little seaside town. But then a lot of these topics that are in the film, I've been thinking about them for my whole life, and have been my work has kind of been focused on that kind of stuff. And there were other stories, Jamila in Azerbaijan, and Emmanuel in Sierra Leone. And so I just got to pitch for the overall project, and they liked it and brought me on to direct the whole film. So I was very so grateful to have it come to me.
Amazing how it came to you. I do want to talk about each one of these innovators, and also, how were they chosen? How did you narrow it down? And how many people? Is there an application process that they have to go through in order? This is through the United Nations Development Program and Hyundai. And I also want to ask how Hyundai got involved with this too. But I have 3 questions there, I guess.
More. We'll tackle them all. So okay. So Hyundai produced the film and made it in cooperation with the United Nations Development Program. And a couple of years ago, they started this platform called fortomorrow.org, this website where innovators around the world could upload their ideas of what they were trying to do. And you could actually contact them, and they could contact each other and just see what people are doing. And so all the people in our film are from that website. And there's over, I think 100 solutions on there right now. And so we were actually kind of casting from that, our lead researcher, Lisama Boudreau, she had done extensive research into like all the background stories and had whittled it down to like a good chunk of candidates. And yeah, it was really hard because there were so many amazing people doing, really cool things out there. And so it was really hard choice, but we wanted to show innovation looked like different, look like different things. So we have someone that's, has more of an engineering background, or he's self-taught, but he's more of an engineer. Or with Jamila, it's more of like she's an innovative, creative thinker. We wanted to show like indigenous knowledge and how ancient techniques are also technology, and to really just kind of show a breadth of what innovation can look like. It's not just in a laboratory or done by a corporation, but it's happening everywhere all around us. And to also show, we had this great chance to show all these different places that like a lot of people don't get to go to, which was really fun for all of us too, just to film and to make it really cinematic and really try and take you on this journey where not a lot of people get to go.
Exactly. So,
So that was kind of how we whittled it down. Yeah.
and how involved is Hyundai in the decision-making process?
You mean choosing the
Yeah,
characters?
choosing.
I to say like creatively, they were super supportive of like what we wanted to do. And just, for me as a director, and they just really trusted me on, yeah, as a storyteller, what would, make it more exciting or make it more interesting. And so that was a challenge because like the website, to make a film inspired by a website basically is can be challenging. But once you dig into the stories and the different characters, and I knew that it was going to make some very emotionally driven, really good, characters there that wouldn't make it so hard. But initially, when you think about it, like, okay, how do we, you know, make a website seem exciting? But it's really the people and the characters, and they made it easy because they are so interesting.
Oh, they are. So let's go back to the woman in Vietnam who is using trash to make cleaning products. Let's talk about a little bit more in detail about her, because I mean, again, she was walking down the street and noticing all the trash and decided to come up with this idea. I mean, I'm always fascinated when people come up with such innovative ideas that nobody ever thought to do before. So can you talk a little bit more about her?
Yeah, and she's so interesting because she wasn't a chemist or a biologist, but um, there was just, it started off with like the trash truck not picking up trash for a week. And in Vietnam, there is like a trash problem. Like you do just see a lot of trash everywhere. And she just really started thinking about like, how can I solve this problem? I mean, eventually there's just always going to be trash. And how do we deal with this like trash problem? And how do we get people to be more sustainable and to conserve? And for her, she thought the only way I can think to do it is to make it valuable somehow. What can I do to change, this trash and make it into something that can make money? Um, and I mean, it took her 10 years to come up with like the formula. I mean, she tried, and she talks about how her house stank full of trash, and she just kept going with it. People thought she was crazy. And it really just shows you the determination and passion and drive that people have. And it's not economically driven. It was her desire was to help the environment and then to help the people around her. And it's just so inspiring to see. Like, I mean, I would probably give up after 3 months or something like that. But there's one thing that she did tell me was that even though the house was full of trash and people thought she was crazy, her husband never told her to stop. Like he, was support. I mean, he did say like, oh, I mean, I'm sure he was annoyed, but he never told her stop doing it. And so I think that's something that we can all kind of take away from is just how little, in a lot of ways, like just being encouraging and nurturing and supportive can really help innovation.
Oh, it really can. There's no question about it. With anything you're doing, if you have
Mhm.
people behind you who support you and say, yes, go for it, continue to do what you're doing, like for like you, doing in the industry that you're in, it's a difficult one. So it's nice to have people around that support our endeavors for sure. So yeah, I loved her story. I mean, all of them. I have to say all of them. I thought they were all just truly fascinating. I want to talk about the young man who created um, the imagination car.
Mhm. Emmanuel, yes.
Yes. In Sierra Leone, right? Yes.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, Emmanuel, he's just has this great energy about him.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a self-taught engineer, and yeah, he's from Freetown, Sierra Leone, and has always been, I guess, from a very young age, just tinkering and just trying to hack things together, and just besides just he created a solar car out of trash from the landfill. But even before that, he was making solar lights and water filtration systems. He's always making things. But yeah, he saw the pollution that was happening, and just the way with fossil fuel like cars are polluting the atmosphere. And so he decided that he would make a car out of trash that would be powered by solar energy. And it took him 2 years. He actually didn't eat lunch for a year. Like his parents had no idea, but he was saving all his money for lunch so that he could buy the parts that he couldn't find out of the landfill. He didn't ride the bus. And so again, it's like this dedication that people have to just create things. And it's like this undeniable passion that they have that they are doing, which is just, so admirable when, he could be playing football or something, and which he does still do, but he is just really driven to try and do all kinds of great things with changing the world the way that he wants it to become.
And again, all of these people who are doing these innovations are self-taught. They just came up with the idea and decided to however, to pursue it. And, no matter, I love the car. I love the way the car looked when he was driving down the road in it. Um, has anybody, I mean, Hyundai is part of this. Have they picked up some of the ideas that he's using to?
Well, in the film, you see them actually, like the engineers, like talking with him and stuff. And so for them, I remember when we were filming that, I mean, they are often, again, like in their labs, just kind of like doing their work and doing all this research. But um, it was such an opportunity for them to actually like talk to Emmanuel and like what, seeing things from his viewpoint. And that's a lot of what the film is actually about, is about people really talking to the ones who are closest to the issues and really getting a sense of what they need and what they want, instead of a lot of times it's like with a lot of development organizations and even like charities, we tend to come in from the outside and think that people who are economically challenged are Dr. Gupta says in the film, like economically challenged are also intellectually challenged, which isn't true. And so it is about, the great thing is like these people in our film, we're celebrating them, and but all of these ideas and exchanges are everywhere. And the reasons that they have to deal with these challenges too is because there are these like bigger systems in place, and we do talk about that actually like put them in these situations where they have to come up with these great ideas. And so that was something really important to show in the film as well.
Yeah, very important to do that throughout the film. Also, you, as you alluded to in the beginning, about some of the more ancient type of uh, solutions to climate change and other things that were going on. Let's talk about the Farming Association in Peru and what they're doing and how. Yeah, let's just talk about what they're doing and how it's solving a problem. But it's something that has been done for a long, long time. But I don't know, was it just rediscovered to do this again?
So yeah, we followed the 10 Day Agosto Farming Collective in Cocula, Peru. And they've been using these techniques again, mainly to battle climate change. Whereas before, when the water, when rain was coming, like more consistently, they didn't really have to rely so much on these techniques. But now that, uh, the ice caps from the Andes Mountains aren't really melting as much and they're not getting as much rainfall, they're using these like Incan techniques from thousands of years ago to conserve water, and they build these water terraces. And the way that the water terraces kind of divert the water in different ways, and you see in the film just how um, lush and green like those areas are that the farmers are using. Um, and yeah, we wanted to show that, this is technology, and we tend to think that things that are ancestral or old are kind of outdated and old fashioned, but it's actually, with research showing that, it's becoming more effective, and how it can be used today, for modern practices. And we also wanted to show innovation that it's in a collective too, of how these people are all working together. And you know often I think like the stories that are kind of in the media are like about this like one genius, you know who becomes a tycoon and has this, and he's the guy that comes up with the idea. But usually it takes a team of people and lots of people doing lots of work together to be able to become successful. And that was really important to show them, and the connection to nature that they have, and the idea of reciprocity, which they have a word for, which is like "aini," but it's not really like a give and take. It's just like we work together, and this is how the world should work. It's a very natural thing that we would do these things together.
Right.
So yeah, that was their story, and we show some of the older technology too with that bridge in India, of how, yeah, these trees are grown across water to create a bridge, and they just get stronger and stronger over years, and it can take decades for them to grow. But that's the kind of forward thinking that we as a world need, to start adopting more, is to, instead of just thinking of profit all the time, but overall health, and for each other and for the world. And even if it takes like 50 years for it to get there, like that's kind of how we should be thinking.
I agree. I agree. We've been looking at climate change for well over 50 years, and you go, why haven't we progressed more? Why did nobody listen? It's like, that the story about the little boy with his thumb in the dam, and, in Holland, about the water. We've been clanging the bell and, saying, hey, it's coming. And now it's here. It's now
Mhm.
here. It's here, I think sooner than anybody expected it to be here. So I find it interesting that most of these innovators it's all about climate change. Pretty much every single one of them, and how to use the natural power of the sun for solar power and other things that have been around forever. So that they have really created that uh, creative thought and innovation in a different way than other people have thought of before. I just find it so amazing and interesting and fascinating.
Yeah, we do have Jamila, who's the young woman in Azerbaijan who, she gets around in a wheelchair. And yeah, she was started to challenge the system there by trying to get access, because it used to be illegal for wheelchairs to go down into the subway. And she made a viral video that got people's attention, and it is changing the law there. So um, again, we're showing like another different kind of way of being innovative, of she used her phone and her voice, and that was her way of becoming innovative.
Yeah, yeah. We take it for granted here in our country, since we, passed the ADA laws years and years and years ago, that people can, get around who are in wheelchairs or crutches or whatever. And her story was, it takes you back a little bit, because you go, oh well, that makes all the sense in the world. Why would that even be an issue, right? And then she decides to just take that up as a cause and a banner, and really made it a huge difference for many other people, including herself. So that was a wonderful story also. Let's talk about the teacher with her backpacks.
Oh yeah, Sharu Monga. So she's an educator, and she designed a solar backpack that's made from recycled plastic, and it has a light on it that gets charged by the sun. And she distributes these to kids in remote villages all over India, and it comes with a science kit inside. Because a huge majority of kids, not just in India, but actually all around the world, they walk to school, and often they have to walk in the dark. Can be kind of dangerous. And so, yeah, that's why the idea of the solar backpack that would charge. And then also when they would get home, they could use that light in their home or in their village, just for light, because some of these villages do not have electricity. But her story was, we really wanted to incorporate youth and children. And there is such a vibrant energy when you get to her world, and the kids are just so excited about learning and exploring. And I really wanted to show that that's what learning is. It can be about discovery, and it can be fun and exciting. And it's not just, sitting in class with like a teacher making you do math. That it's something you can get your hands dirty with and run around. And so that was a really fun part of, I think, you can see her enthusiasm of her just, the kids have this excitement and potential already. I think as we get older, people tend to kind of, um, I don't know, dismiss kids and their ideas, and they kind of shrink down a little bit. And so I really wanted to show just, how kids are just so free and so open, and we really shouldn't limit them. And that's just a really great part of, like, yeah, innovation.
Right, right. I can totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. How long did it take you to put this film together, Anne?
So the actual filming part, it took about 3 months. And this was happening during the pandemic, right when Delta was like hitting Asia. So when I started on the project, like researching, Vietnam hadn't really been touched that much by the pandemic. Like we had some lockdowns, but it wasn't like anything in the West. And I was just, very cocky, thinking like, oh yeah, Vietnam's going to be the easiest part to film. And then the Delta variant hit, and then that's when things started to get serious. And even though Ms. Hong, who was in the next town to me, like, and I thought it'd be so easy to be filming, I couldn't go to her town because there was quarantines and lockdowns. So things had to get pushed out, but the actual filming took about 3 months. And then we had post-production, and overall with all the research, it was pretty much like a 2-year project for a lot of people. Yeah, I was, I think, yeah, about 18 months on the project.
Wow, it's a long time. How did Amazon Prime get involved?
So that's where the film is being streamed in a lot of countries, not all countries, because around the world there are other outlets. But yeah, they are streaming it on their platform, and happy to have it there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good platform to have it in. Do you see this becoming a series each year with new innovators? Do you see this, them continuing, or yourself and your filmmakers continuing to continue the series so people can see what other people are doing in the future?
I mean, it definitely could be a series, and each of our characters, like we had talked about this, like on the team, like they could be their own episode or own film.
Yes.
I mean, some of them, there's a lot that we couldn't include just because of, the duration of the film that we had. But yes, it could easily be a series. Yeah, it's up to, a funder that would like to fund it and stuff like that. But yes, there's so much material there, and so many amazing people to spotlight and to show.
Yeah, there really are, and I hope that you can continue to make this a series. I think it's inspirational for many people, and everyone. I really recommend you go to Amazon Prime and search for for tomorrow. And you will be inspired. It also makes you have it sit with your children, your children, your teenagers, your whole family. It's something that everyone can enjoy, and it's a wonderful one after you watch it to discuss other ideas, and maybe it'll spark ideas for other people to come up with solutions to other problems that are plaguing our world today. So, Anne, thank you so much. What a pleasure having you on the show. It really is. And I wish you much success with For Tomorrow.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really nice to talk to you.
You too, Anne. Thank you.
Thanks.